Good Saturday evening. Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. Back from a hiatus. I'm not even going first. Back from a hiatus. Homecoming. He is back. He is in the building. None other than the one, the only, the Nubian Sumo. Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, folks?
I will tell you this, is good to have you back. Back in one piece. Look like you're well rested. Probably not. You're playing it off.
I've made a full recovery. It's been a couple of weeks, but I've made a full recovery. You know, I did. It was 80 degrees at homecoming. I chose not to do the brown water, being that it was 80 degrees. So I went the wine route for homecoming this year. So yeah, it was a nice little red blend that I did, and I actually found it in Food Lion. It's called Kings of Prohibition. It's a red blend that was finished in a bourbon barrel. $14, all black bottle with a nice silver print on it, Kings of Prohibition. So if you're in your local Food Lion and you decide to try it out, I suggest you do, especially if you're into drier wines. It was a little on the dry side, but it was very good. It was very good wine. I definitely appreciated it because it didn't give me. I went through like 2 bottles of it over the course of the day, and I didn't have a hangover. I wasn't overly inebriated or anything, but I was very much satisfied at the end of the day. So yeah, everything was cool.
Let me tell you something.
My school is in the Celebration Bowl. We'll be in Atlanta on December the 17th, playing Deion Sanders and the Jackson State Tigers. So we're going to see how that works out. You know, MEAC champions, everything's good. Everything's good on the sports side over here.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm happy because you drank a wine and it was anything but teleport. So I'm good with that. Anything. I don't care if you paid $2 for it.
A lot of people are moving toward Taylor Port right now. There are a lot better ports out there than Taylor Port. Let me tell you that right now. So for those that like it, do what you do with your money. That's on you. But yeah, there are better ways to go to Taylor Port. You know,
but see, people think because I don't drink anymore, I don't know. Let me tell you something. I got a long-standing history of family that works in the liquor business. I know what I know. Just like Odessa vodka, you keep a gallon of Odessa vodka on the shelf just in case you run out of gas and you need something to start your car in the morning. That's to use Odessa vodka for. People that got Parmesan on their bar, and you walk in the house and you see somebody got a bar. Oh, you got a bar. They got Parmesan. Turn around and walk back out because they like to fight people.
Exactly.
Taylor
exactly. Port. Nothing good comes from a bottle of Parmesan.
Not at all.
Christian Brothers.
Whoo, that's what got me started on the brown was Christian Brothers. Oh, I got older. I was like, yeah, I can't. I got to upgrade. So I started doing Cavassier and Hennessy. And then night
I had a Cavassier and Hennessy stage. You know, I was going through E&J like it was no business at one point. Yeah, I wound up switching to Tanqueray, did all the Tanquerays I was doing. And before you even say anything, anybody out there, I was doing Tanqueray before Snoop even mentioned it. Okay, so yeah, let's put that out there.
Tanqueray was my winter drink. Tanqueray and orange juice was my winter drink. I used to call that pine oil heaven because that's what it had an afterburn of pine oil.
We would do Tanqueray and Wink. I don't know if you remember Wink.
The soda. It's like a lemony soda. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do Wink.
Never thought about that. Then I had a night where they had me up against the car after drinking almost a gallon of Hennessy by myself for my birthday. They had me against the car. My mother came out there, and she'll tell you the story. It's about 1 a.m. We just got in from the strip club. I got a pocket full of money. I'm drunk as hell. She comes down the sidewalk to get me as my brother-in-law tries to lead me up the sidewalk. I say, "Hey, mama," and set her whole alarm off. Woke up everybody in the building. Last time I ever drunk Hennessy or Cavassier, any dark after that. After that, I switched straight to white. Then I started drinking your Belvederes and your Absolutes, and I went through every flavor of Absolute they had and enjoyed it. Then I started drinking Russian vodka, and it just got to the point I was like, I think I need to slow down, because I opened my refrigerator and I had like 2 bottles of Belvedere, case of Heineken, Russian vodka, some Stolies at that. And I was like, okay, I have no food. I just have alcohol in my in my refrigerator. So here's Lady C. You talking about us? I'm talking about the past.
Now that brings us to tonight, because tonight I get to fulfill a promise I made. Okay. So it's been about a year. I introduced the first one, and it was great. Something I really didn't like, but so a kind that I didn't like, but the brand of that particular brand was very good to me, and it has done me well since then. But I made a promise that they were going to come out with their next stage, and I'm here tonight to deliver on that promise. So, ladies and gentlemen,
wait, let me give you the solo layout so we can see this. Hold on. There we go.
Did you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
I just opened up a whole can of whoop ass. So hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, as I promised, Steve Austin's Broken Skull American Lager. Now, you remember I had the IPA about a couple of years ago. This has been out for at least a year, and I just found it in one of the places that I frequent in Raleigh a couple of weeks ago, and I've been holding on to this just for y'all. So, cheers, folks.
And he chugged it too. He chugged it. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy my Arizona energy. Really, really good. Nice taste. And he chugged it. He chugged it. I'm not going down like that.
Oh, hell yeah. And guess what?
And he even got the Austin t-shirt on for the lager. I love it. I love product placement. I love it.
Wow. There you go. Being on time with the segue.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, you want it tonight. I like that. Speaking of product placement, I was given, so to speak, a mission, an assignment, if you will, to acquire us some new logos for our show and for the podcast network, Sideline Junkies. And just going by what people have been talking about with us, I succeeded in my mission. So I'll let Mr. KG do the introduction and show us the new Sideline Junkies and Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs logos that we'll be using from now on.
Well,
sir,
here we go. This is the unveiling. This is the first time they've been seen outside of our group chat. And boom. That is our main logo, Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, because we got a lot of shows that come up inside this network. And one of those shows that deserves its own logo, that's just one of them. Here's our alternate logo, Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. all done masterfully, beautifully. We have our own Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs logo. Finally, after, wow, what are we going on? We're going on 4 years of this. And we finally have Wrestlemaniacs logos. And I can't wait to get these things on a t-shirt. Oh, man. And big shout out to our sponsor for the night. If you want to introduce our sponsor.
Yes, our sponsor tonight is AnuyuBeauty.com, who's run by Tanisha. And make sure you say Tanisha, not Tanisha. Tanisha Sutton, who is the one who put together these logos for us. You know, I was in collaboration with her. Most of the ideas were hers. I kind of helped guide and tweak a little bit, but it was most mainly her putting these logos together for us. If you all have any graphic artist needs, or if she does t-shirts herself, or any type of artistic endeavors that you're trying to get into, just give her a call. This is her information on the screen right here, and her name and her web address will be scrolling across the bottom over the course of the show tonight. She is our sponsor for tonight, and we appreciate all of her help in getting those logos in for us. The crew has been enjoying them very much, and I've already rewarded her for her efforts and thanked her personally for getting those to us and helping us out with that. So thank you, Tanisha. And I know you'll be watching this on the back end, because I'll be sending this link to you so you can see that we're showing our appreciation to you tonight as our sponsor and for helping us out with getting these logos put together.
Most definitely. And the way you did it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So when it's time to re-up, we know we ain't got to look no further. All we got to do is call you and we redo it again. We come up with something else. Right. So this is beautiful. Man, just thankful. That's what I am. I'm thankful because let me give you your flowers. You talk about you had a mission and you accomplished it. No. This was a John Wick mission. You know, this is supposed to take a minute. And you narrowed this down. You did the work, the leg work. You did everything. And you came through. You came through so big for this. And I appreciate everything that you did. Everybody appreciates what you did. It's just the way you handled this, and you took time out of your busy schedule to knock this out. So for me, and I think I speak for everybody, you know, around the office, you did the damn thing, and we appreciate what you did. So, here's the Midnight Rider. I want a red shirt with the logo. He's destined to get that red shirt. And Lady C, reward, huh? Personal thanks, huh? Yeah, okay. Hey, don't knock the man for what he does. And she want her shirt in blue and purple. And of course, the thanks for the Nubian Sumo coming through as usual. Now, to get into this show, get into the teeth of it, get into the meat of it, where you want to start at?
Well, I want to give flowers too. So let's talk about this PWI top 150 women's list that came out recently. You know, I want to get into this and see how it compares to what happened last year, because we have some interesting placement with the way that they put the women in this list last year. And I'm looking at this list right now, and I'm also seeing some interesting placement as far as where they put certain people. And like I said, this is a top 25. We're not going to go top 150 rather. So we're not going to go through the whole list, but we will be going through, you know, certain people and certain names that you will know and see where they place. So We're going to start off with the top 10, and I'll read off the top 10 to you right now. So, number 1 was Siri, who is a wrestler in Stardom, who's one of the top wrestlers in Stardom right now. You have number 2, Bianca Belair. Number 3, your AEW Women's World Champion, Thunder Rosa. Number 4, Becky Lynch. Number 5, Jade Cargill. Number 6, Jordan Grace. Number 7, Saya Kamitani, who is also Stardom. Number 8, Charlotte Flair. Number 9, the Starlight Kid, which is Stardom as well. And number 10, Taya Valkyrie. So now, even though this kind of it's kind of died down a little bit, this list came out in October, by the way. So it's been some time since this list has come out. There was a lot of heat on Jade Cargill being top 5 on this list, being that she's only been in the business maybe 2-3 years. She's got the TNT title that she's had since its inception. She's on a Goldberg run right now. I think she's like 40+-0 right now, trying to get to 50. But there was still a whole lot of heat on her as far as why she's on this list so high. But I don't see a problem with it myself. I mean, the way that they've been carrying her, the way she's been working the business, the way she's been learning and growing within the system, I don't see a problem with her being at number 5. I don't see a problem at all. Now, I have a problem with Becky Lynch being number 4. I don't see how Becky Lynch can be number 4. She came back from her. She had already come back. Had the 26-second title win from Bianca Belair. But what did she do? What did she do? I mean, from the time she got the belt to when she got hurt to garner a number 4 spot?
I'm waiting.
I'm trying to figure it out myself. I don't see it. Charlotte's been gone for almost 6 months. What did she do to garner number 8? And for those who were trying to figure out, well, you haven't said anything about the Japanese wrestlers. Siri is a top star in Stardom, and so is Saya Kamitani. Starlight Kid is like not upper mid card, but I would say lower main event. But she's making strides. She's won a few titles, so I mean I can see her dealing. Taya Valkyrie, I would put higher. I mean, Taya Valkyrie, look at what she's done in the past year. She's been in contention for the NWA World Women's Championship. She was in contention for the Impact World Championship. She held the Rhea Del Reyna's title at one time during the past year. She's been doing a thing all over the world. I mean, she wound up leaving as soon as she left WWE and that train wreck she had of a run over there. She just got back on her horse and went and did what she had been doing prior to that. Being worldly, going all over the world and been doing her thing. So I don't see how she got a 10 spot. I would actually put Jade at number 4, put Ty at number 5. I mean, Jordan Grace at 6 is a good spot for her, in my opinion. In my opinion, compared to the rest of them, I mean, you can't. I wouldn't put her over Siri. I wouldn't put her over Bianca. I might put her over Thunder Rosa. I might put her on the Thunder Rosa. So let's put it this way. I keep Siri at number 1. I keep Bianca at number 2. I would put Jordan at 3, Jade at 5, and Ty. It wasn't Jade at no. I put Jordan at 3, Jade at 4, and who's the other one? Ty at 5.
Okay,
that would be my top 5.
Now
that would be my top 5.
Here's my thing. You know I'm gonna put Jordan Grace higher than Jade Cargill. Number 1, time in the business, what she's done, what she's doing. Not taking anything away from Jade, because Jade she's a rising star. She's doing the damn thing, and she's starting to get a little bit better on the mic. Remember we said that she didn't have it on the mic just yet, and it was coming. She's getting better on the mic. Here's my thing. I'm looking at the rest of this list: Mickie James, Liv Morgan, Britt Baker, Ronda Rousey, who just came back. Deonna Purrazzo is at 19, and Britt Baker's 13. Tasha Steelz is 11, who I think should be higher. Mickie James is at 15. She should be higher. Liv Morgan's 17, should be higher. Ronda should be lower because remember, she missed 2 years? She just came back. So she should be a little bit lower because she did not compete in the last year. Deonna Purrazzo should be higher. She's at 19. Mandy Rose should be way higher than 21 because of the year she's had.
I agree with that. She should be further up. I mean, she's held that NXT title, women's title, for that whole year that they ran that they based this list off of.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the names that you mentioned and we'll go through, and since he mentioned them, we'll go through 11 through 20. So 11 is Tasha Steelz. Number 12 is Mayu Yamashita. Number 13 is Britt Baker. 14 is Masha Slamovich. 15, Mickie James. 16, AZM. I'm not familiar with who she is. 17, Liv Morgan. 18, Ronda Rousey. 19, Deonna Purrazzo. And 20, Utami Hayashishita. Okay. Now, you mentioned Britt. You mentioned Tasha. You mentioned Mickie James. You mentioned Liv Morgan, Ronda, and Deonna. Of the folks left over, I would say Masha Slamovich needs to be up there, needs to move up as well. Because Masha has been doing real good work on the independents, and she's been she's been one of the top women in Impact Wrestling right now, going up against Jordan Grace for her Impact Knockouts Championship. She's already had 2 runs with her, and then she was supposed to be. She was in a title match with her just this past just yesterday for their pay-per-view yesterday. So I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but I saw a snippet of it and it looked like it was a pretty good match. So I need to be able to check that out. But yeah, Ronda wasn't around, like you said, for most of that time. Liv Morgan, she was just pretty much being her storyline was being developed to put her into that. She did hold the title during that time that they based this list off of, so I'm sure they're giving her credit for that. Mickie James, even though she's been relevant, she hasn't really been doing too much as far as title shots and reigns and whatnot, going after the titles in the NWA or in Impact. So she's just pretty much setting herself up for this last rodeo tour that she's on. For those that don't know, they set up a storyline with her, kind of like they did with Flair toward the end of his WWE career. So if she loses the next match that she loses, the next 3 count she takes, she's going to retire from wrestling. So they've been putting her in these matches. She just had a match with Chelsea Green on television where she beat Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green wound up leaving the filming and whatnot. And Deonna Purrazzo, who was a tag team partner they had a team together, came out trying to stop her. She says, "I'm going home." And the way she said she's going home, I believe she's going back to WWE because there are rumors about her going back to WWE. Triple H tapping her on the shoulder to come back. So I'm thinking that that's going to be the case with her, that she's just going to leave and go back to WWE. But yeah, she just had a match with Taylor Wilde, who was an old school Impact wrestler from back in the day, and they're working toward her eventually losing a match. And I'm thinking they're going to probably put her in a title situation against Jordan Grace, and it'll be one of those "I'm sorry, I love you" situations, and Jordan Grace will just put her out of misery, and wound up making her leave because she's going to end up pinning her. But that's going to be some time, though. It's going to take some time to get that going.
Two things. Number one, there will never be another moment like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair shared "I'm sorry, I love you." I don't know any wrestling fan that had a dry eye when that super kick landed. Don't know nobody that had a dry eye. Even watching the replay, I don't know nobody that has a dry eye. Everybody's eyeball sweats with that one. That's number one. Number two, I'm going over this list. And I remember, you said something about it a couple of weeks ago, and I said, let me check this out. And I've been up and down this list. I don't see Nyla Rose, and I don't see Athena.
Athena's on here. Athena's on here. Yeah, you overlooked her. Athena's on here. I don't recall seeing Nyla Rose, but I'm going to look now to see if I find her.
Toni Storm at 25, Sasha Banks at 26. And Sasha Banks being at 26, even though she's missed a large part of time and has not been in the ring for anybody for almost, 6 months now, her and Naomi. And I keep hearing they're going to come back. I think Naomi is coming back. Sasha Banks may be done. Rhea Ripley at 42 bothers me.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if you saw, in our little Twitter conversation, in our little Twitter thread that we have, I sent you all something that from a few days ago. Sasha Banks has actually filed for trademarks for the name. What's her real first name?
It's Mercedes, isn't it?
She filed for a trademark for the name Mercedes Moné. And she's also put in a couple of more trademarks: Monet Money, or Monet Bank, or Bank Monet. I think she's getting ready to come back into wrestling, but it ain't gonna be with WWE. It'll be under somebody else because she filing trademarks for a name that's not Sasha Banks.
And Rhea Ripley at 42 bothers me to my soul. If she does come back, she's a great wrestler. I love her, and I know. I know. Somebody said that when Paige came back, she finally made her in-ring debut in AEW. She said that she didn't want Sasha Banks to feel bad anymore. She said she never wanted her to feel bad because of the incident they had that put her on the shelf. And the Midnight Rider chiming in, Sasha has some new names. Yes, she does. She got something up her sleeve. Naomi at 47. Just seeing what jumps off the page. Ruby Soho at 60. Asuka at 61. Asuka has been buried the last year. She was a champion and she didn't get no TV time, no nothing. That was a problem for me. Ruby Soho, come out like gangbusters. She got hurt, but I think both of them should be higher than 60 and 61. Not even gonna lie. Boom, boom, boom. You mentioned Chelsea Green. She's 75. Natalia's 81. I no matter what Natalia does, I think she should always be at least top 20, just for who she is. Dana Brooks 88. Shayna Baszler's 94. Dewdrop's 97. And you know something I noticed about Shayna Baszler?
You skipped Athena.
I did?
Did you see her?
No.
You skipped Athena. Yeah, you skipped her. I gotta find it again because my screen went out. She's 76 under Chelsea Green.
76. I sure enough did. It didn't pop out on the screen. Everybody else is popping out. Why is she 76?
Yeah. You know what? A lot of these folks that you're mentioning, I mean, they've been sort of relevant within the women's divisions in their respective companies. But what have they really done? You know? And you talk about Natalya. I mean, Natalya, she's more like a gatekeeper. She's more like a gatekeeper. You know, she's training people. You know, she's taking people under her wing and whatnot. You know, whenever somebody new comes in, Natalya's the first one to come after them, or they're the first one. She's the first one that they're paired up with.
And that right there, and that's what I mean, Ben. It's not about what she looks like.
It's not like she's going
after. It's not about what she looks like. It's what she does for the business. Gatekeeper, perfect word. Yes, I can agree with.
Yeah, because you got a lot. You got every company has their gatekeepers, from the men to the women. You know, and they're the whenever somebody new comes in, they're one of the first ones that they deal with, as far as making sure that they're right for being in the business. If how they're gonna perform, to see what they're gonna do in the ring with them. You know, especially if they're coming off of an injury or something like that, they're trusted to be in the ring with them so they don't get hurt or whatever the case may be. So, you know, everybody, and Natalya is their gatekeeper for the women. So I mean, for her to be that low, I can kind of see it, because she always does what's best for business, because, you know, she's been around for the longest out of all the women in WWE right now, you know, and she's going to be that one who's going to keep everybody in a straight line. So yeah,
she's going to be your I don't want to say your Moolah, your fabulous Moolah. I think she's going to be your Mae Young, where you can always use her for something. She's always going to have a home.
Right.
Going down the list, Nikki ASH. The run that she's had.
Yeah, that's way
109.
Low. That's way low for her. 109 is way low for her, for Nikki ASH for me. She did too much work to be that low.
That's true.
You know, but she pretty much, I mean, for all she did in the past year, she's been carrying people. She carried Rhea Ripley to where she is now. She carried what's her name? Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm. And that pairing right there of her and Alexa Bliss, that was gold. They should have never went away from that. That was gold.
Yeah, she should. I mean, she should get a little more respect than 109, in my opinion, on that. Yeah, I think so. I mean, to put her down here with, like, to put her down. I mean, and then they got Alexa Bliss at 117. I mean, she was out for a good while, so that's cool. That's cool. They got her down there like that. Chris Statlander, Io Sky at 126.
But you got Dewdrop ranked above all of them at 97.
Right. But Dewdrop did do her work.
Yeah, she
Dewdrop
did.
was doing work. Dewdrop was doing work over in NXT UK. She built herself up to be a championship contender. They shut down. They were shutting it down, and they decided to bring her over early to bring her to the main roster. You know, they gave her this bull jive name Dewdrop because she had to work with and made it work. So I mean, you know, yeah, she needs a little bit more. She needs a little bit now. Okay, I'm going to 130, and I'm going to 130 because I got beef. I got beef with 130, and not necessarily with 130, but what somebody did to 130. And 130 is Max the Impaler. Now, I'm gonna have to open up number 2 for this one. I toast you, but I don't want to get my tablet wet. Okay, so here's my beef. For those of you that watched WWE Raw a couple of weeks ago, you saw the return of the Viking Raiders. Okay. I don't know if they're going by the name Valhalla as a group or Valhalla Returns or whatever the gimmick is going to be. But they brought back Sarah Logan as a third member. Now, you saw how she looked. She had on the leather. She had the bare feet. You know, she had the blacked out forehead with the face and the paint and everything. She's a fucking ripoff of Max the Impaler. If you have ever seen Max the Impaler, Sarah Logan looks just like them. And I say them because that's her pronoun. That's the pronoun that they use. Okay. It's not a he, it's not a she, it's them and they. Get that straight. Okay. I want you all to go and Google Max the Impaler and then Google Sarah Logan, and you tell me if they didn't rip off Max the Impaler.
I'm looking now. I'm looking.
If you can bring it up on the screen, if you can bring the 2 pictures up on the screen, you tell me.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna put that together. Hold on. You keep going. I got you.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Max the Impaler has been doing so much work in the independents. I mean, she's one of the baddest. She's one of the baddest out there right now. I keep saying she. I'm sorry. I know I just gave that explanation, but I'm still getting used to it myself. They are one of the baddest of all out there right now. I mean, they are going against men and women. Okay, they've gone up against Camille for the NWA Championship. They've gone up against Jordan Grace for the Impact Championship, Knockouts Championship. I mean, they're going around. They're doing business. I mean, good business. They've been in New Japan Strong. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you can't do this. You cannot do this. This is a total ripoff.
Ooh, baby, I got a good picture too. It's coming. Hold on. It's a side by side, and I ain't even got to put it together. Hold on. Damn.
For those of you who haven't seen this, you got to see this. This is ridiculous. The only difference that they made between Max the Impaler and Sarah Logan's look is that Sarah Logan is barefoot. That's it. The makeup is the same. The costume is the same. The almost the mannerisms are the same. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Even the Midnight Rider, he said, I knew this was coming, but he said travesty. Travesty. Just hold tight, ladies and gentlemen. Hold tight. Little Luther for you there. For those of you that are too young to know about that, Luther would change. Geez, come on, baby, come on. Load this thing up. I got it. All right, let's put it to work. All right, download that. Oh, incoming image. I'm gonna close that. But this is, I heard some talk about it, but I was like, nah, man, they're not doing that. It's not that, because somebody else said another wrestler ripped off their gimmick as well, and it was kind of like the same, but it wasn't. And here's the image right here. That's Max the Impaler on the right, Sarah Logan on the left. And let me drop this comment out the way. That looks pretty damn similar.
Yeah,
it really does.
It's I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's crazy. There's no way that they didn't look at Max the Impaler and say, I'm stealing that for Sarah Logan. Now, you can blame two people for this, at least two people. And these are the ones I'm going to focus on. You blame Sarah Logan for bringing it to him, or you blame Triple H for approving it.
And not vetting it.
But then you also got the writers, and I'm sure the writers are looking at other companies and saying, okay, yeah, there's a girl out there that she got this look, we can kind of tweak it, but they didn't tweak this at all. There's they didn't tweak this at all. They just completely stole her look. And it's ridiculous that they would do that. It's just ridiculous that they would do that.
But now I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be funny. Do you expect anything else? Not from management, but do you expect anything else from writers in the business, but to copy and basically copy and paste ideas that they get from the independents or the podcast?
Oh no, not at all.
Exactly.
Most of the Attitude Era was stolen from ECW.
A lot of ideas at WWE. I've heard Vince Russo use some of our ideas, and I'm not saying this to thump my own chest or big up the podcast or what have you, but it's a lot of things that have been said on the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs that we said first, long before anybody else said. Then all of a sudden, you're hearing everybody talk about it 3-4 weeks later. Same thing with during the week, whether it's the Sunday Rise, the Tuesday Night Flight, or the Thursday Night Throwdown. It's things that are being discussed on those shows, and then all of a sudden we're hearing them on the airwaves. And we like, hold on, wait, we talked about that a week and a half ago and said the exact same thing. And I can go back and I can pull these things up. And then you can look at it. When did it show up on TV? I don't see anything different from any writer in the business. But to steal, just me, just my thoughts. Because I've seen yourself, the People's Choice Don Rodriguez, even the Boss BJ. I've seen ideas, things that you said, personal sayings that only you say, seeing those things come up on the big screen. And I know we said it because that's something we've talked about. I don't put anything past them. And this right here is an actual ripoff. And it'd be great if they brought Max the Impaler in and it was just like all out hell break loose. And it's a war between them and Sarah Logan. And you just say, hey, We made a mistake, but we can turn it around and make money off of it. Everybody get paid. Everybody eat. Just a thought.
It would be good. It would be good if they did that. That would be good for Max the Impaler if they did that. I mean, they need to compensate her in some kind of way, because the way they stole her gimmick, their gimmick like that, is ridiculous. I mean, I understand you will get ideas from somebody else, but to blatantly rip them off, I mean, they're talking about they talk about Dominic and him being in the him being with what's the name of the group with Rhea and Finn, and what's the name of the group?
Oh, jeez, I can't even think of the name.
They're talking about Dominic and how he's growing up and all this and that. You know, WWE stole that Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio storyline that involved Dominic. They stole that from the Sandman and Raven in ECW. when the Undertaker crucified Stone Cold Steve Austin on that Undertaker symbol, Raven did that to the Sandman in ECW. That was the night that Kurt Angle was at ECW. He said, "Don't you ever let anybody know I was here for that mess."
But you know something crazy that I heard? I heard Paul Heyman was writing for both. Paul Heyman was submitting ideas to WWE, and they were tweaking them and putting the same thing out, because Paul Heyman had a lot to do with WWE during those ECW runs.
Eventually there was a deal brokered between ECW and WWE, where Heyman was working for them and collecting the check. Yes, that is true.
So Heyman was around long before we seen him on TV, long before he was in Rollerball. Heyman was around. He was a WWE guy for a long time.
Yeah, I think he made like $5 million on that contract that he had with WWE while he was in ECW,
and it was well worth it. I will say that, well worth it. Any final thoughts on this 150? I mean, I'm looking over it, and seeing Mia Yim at 133 bothers me as well. Shotzi Blackheart at 137. Nyla Rose not being on here at all. You know what, Ben just corrected me.
But you got to realize Nyla Rose didn't really do too much hasn't really done too much over the past year.
Not Heyman. You mean Paulie Dangerously. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, there was a time. There was a time.
And yes, Heyman is a genius. He's still a genius. That's why I wish they would let him write like he was supposed to. It was him and Bischoff, and they had the two shows. If they would have just let them do their thing.
Yeah, Heyman had SmackDown, and Bischoff had Raw.
Mm-hmm. And then you would let Triple H run NXT. But we don't have to worry about it no more, because the old man's retired, so he don't have his fingers in everything anymore. But this right here is long awaited, because we haven't done this in a while. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to present to you That's Just Nubian.
Well, thank you very much for that. You know, it has been a while since I heard that, and it's been a while since we talked about any independent wrestling, especially with New Japan and everything that's going on with them. They're continuously doing amazing things over there in New Japan. So we're going to start off with them. I'm not going to get into try to bring you from 6 months ago, because it's not been 6 months, but it seems like it. You know, it's been at least since end of September, No, actually, it's been the end of July, so it's going on 6 months. but yeah, we want to go into New Japan. I'm just gonna do pretty much a update on the championship situation in New Japan right now because there's been a little bit of movement. There's been some things that's been getting ready to happen within there, and everything is leading up to January 4th for the Wrestle Kingdom and their version of WrestleMania. So let's start off with the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, who is still Jay White. Jay White's still holding that title, holding on to it strong. There have been some things within Bullet Club that have happened. Hikuleo has actually left uh, the Bullet Club, as did his brothers, the Gorillas of Destiny, and their handler Gato, they all wound up leaving, and now they're members of the Chaos faction. Well, not necessarily the Chaos faction, but the High faction, which is the faction that's pretty much run by Hiroshi Tanahashi. So, because they've been tagging with him a lot lately. Your IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion is Will Ospreay, who has defended that title within the United States and in Japan here recently. He's been doing a pretty good job with defending that belt. He wound up getting the belt as the title was vacated when they stripped the title from Jon Moxley, and they had a title match. They had a title match between him and Sonata, and so he wound up beating Sonata, and he's had about 4 or 5 title defenses since then. So and he's got a few more coming up going into the Wrestle Kingdom. Your IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion right now is Taiji Ishimori in his 3rd run. There is going to be a 4-way match during Wrestle Kingdom for his title, which does not happen in New Japan. I mean, they just recently started doing 3-man triple threats, but to have a 4-man tournament, to have a 4-man match in New Japan is unheard of. Now, your never open weight champion right now is Carl Anderson from the Good Brothers. They have recently left in Impact Wrestling, the Good Brothers, and have gone over to New Japan and are also signed with the WWE, which caused a conflict here recently because Carl Anderson was supposed to defend the never open weight championship against Hikuleo, but he also had a match that he got booked on the same day for Crown for the Saudi Arabia show in WWE. So, being that New Japan is very serious about their title defenses when they advertise them, there had to be some backdoor dealings going on, and we wound up keeping the title, but he's going to at some point have to defend that belt against Hikuleo, and because of what happened, he may be losing that belt. I wouldn't doubt them taking the belt off of him because of that. So we'll see what happens there. Now you have the Strong Openweight Championship, which is pretty much the television championship for their show, New Japan Strong, and that's held by Fred Rosser. Now, for those of you who don't know who Fred Rosser is, I can't remember what his name was in WWE, but he was the other half of the Primetime Players with Titus O'Neil. So yes, he's cut all of his hair off. He's got a goatee now, and at least last time I saw him, he had a goatee. I think he might have cut it off since then because I've seen some pictures of him clean faced. But yes, he beat Tom Lawler for the Strong Openweight Championship, and he's had it since back in May. So he's gone on a pretty good run on that right now. Your IWGP Tag Team Champions are FTR, and as you know, they have IWGP, AAA, and Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. So this is one of the titles that they're going to have. They do have them, and they will be defending them at Wrestle Kingdom on January the 4th. Yes, sir.
And that the wrestler you were talking about, Rosser, is Darren Young.
Mm-hmm. Darren Young. Okay, very good. I couldn't remember his name. It's been so long since he used that name. So yeah, Darren Young. And let's see. So FTR, they will be defending at Wrestle Kingdom for those championships. Not sure as to who they're going to be wrestling because they do have the World Tag League that's getting ready to start if it hasn't started already, as well as the Junior World Tag League that will be including the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Francisco Akira and TJP. TJ Perkins, for those who know him as TJ Perkins. They are members of a faction in Japan known as the United Empire, which is headed by Will Ospreay. You also have a group called the Aussie Open that were the former strong open weight tag team champions, which I'll get to in a moment. But they just lost those belts. But you have there is a very strong faction of nothing but like British and English wrestlers. Now, Bullet Club is supposed to be more so the Gaijin or the Americans as far as the base of that group, but the United Empire is more British, United Kingdom, European type, wrestlers that are involved in this. So you got some Italians in there, you got some Aussies, you got folks from New Zealand, all over the UK, Germany, things of that nature within that group. So they're a very strong faction and they're all over the place. So they're represented in New Japan Strong, they're represented in New Japan in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're represented in Impact right now and the NWA. So yes, there's representation for them and all over the place. So you can look out for them as well as Bullet Club and okay, I'll go ahead and say it so Don will be happy at least for the night. Los Ingobernables de Japón.
He loves when you do that one. He loves when you do that one.
Right. So going back to the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships, they are now, as I said, Aussie Open had them at one time, but they've just recently relinquished them to the Motor City Machine Guns. So that happened back in October 28th. They were in a three-way match with the DKC and Kevin Knight, who are part of the LA Dojo for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And they had a three-way match and wound up losing the belts, and the Motor City Machine Guns are your new champions. Your never open weight six-man tag team champions are still the House of Torture, who've had them since September. They will be defending them at some point. It may be before the Wrestle Kingdom, but I doubt that they'll make them part of the Wrestle Kingdom card. But we'll see how that goes. The KOPW King of Pro Wrestling championship or trophy is right now in the hands of Shingo Takagi. They haven't really been doing much with that. He's been making some defenses here and there, but it's the KOPW trophy is almost like the 24/7, the now defunct 24/7 championship. So I mean, it's just their way of bringing stipulation matches into New Japan because they don't really happen, and that's what the KOPW championship is all about. Having a stipulation for the matches and having those matches take place. And now there has been an announcement which is old. It's been a few months old, and one of them has gone into for both of them have gone into fruition as far as the tournaments have gone concerned. But New Japan is establishing 2 new championships. One of those championships being the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. And this belt will be defended on New Japan World, their website, their streaming website, and on their YouTube channels. So this one now, they may decide to put this belt on, their New Japan Strong show, or they may try to include it into maybe one of their main shows, their pay-per-views or whatever. But at this point, it's strictly supposed to be for New Japan World, the website, and YouTube. So they've already had the tournament. They're down to their final. The final will take place at Wrestle Kingdom for the crown the new champion. The match will be Ren Narita, who is just graduated from the New Japan Dojo and has finished his excursion. So he's back in New Japan Wrestling right now, doing his thing, going up against Zack Sabre Jr., which they're touting this to be a great match, which it can be. I mean, the way Ren Narita was trained, he was trained in technical wrestling, chain wrestling, catch as catch can, whereas Zack Sabre Jr., for everybody that knows who he is, he's also one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. Trained under the Billy Robinson style, chain wrestling. I mean, his mentor is Minoru Suzuki. So I mean, and he's under his and Minoru Suzuki's faction, Suzuki-gun. So we're gonna have to see where this goes. I mean, it's an ugly belt. It's an ugly belt. It looks like one of those bracelets that somebody made in wood shop back in high school. I mean, it's a light brown leather. It's all silver or nickel plate or whatever you want to call it, but it's real silver shiny. It's a bunch of squares. The front is like just this basic rectangle with New Japan World across the top, World Television, and the champion at the bottom with the. It is a butt ugly belt. I mean. It is not good. It's not good at all. And if you're looking at KG right now, he's probably looking at the belt.
Oh my God! I'm not even gonna put that on the. Oh, hold on. Let me pull up the tablet and just come on. Oh shit! Hold on. Oh God! It's just bad. It's bad. It's really really bad.
I mean. As bad as the WWE spinner is, as bad as I said the 24/7 belt was, this belt.
Let me get up in there. Let me see. That's your belt right there.
Tell me that is a good looking belt. Tell me.
I can't tell you. It looks generic.
I mean,
it looks generic.
My little 7-year-old nephew can design a belt looking better than that. No. Now, there's also been announced that there's going to be an IWGP World Women's Champion. First time ever. As I've told you, the IWGP actually bought Stardom. And so now they have started to include Stardom matches into some of their cards. They have announced this and to have a champion, and they're saying that it's not going to supersede the Stardom champion, the top champion for Stardom, but it's going to be a women's champion within the IWGP using Stardom wrestlers as well as other wrestlers that they bring in from around the world that they signed to their company. Now, what they did with their belt, I can kind of understand because they go with New Japan goes with tradition a lot when it comes to their belts. So what they did was they took the original version of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and made this version their Women's World Championship. Now, I'm thinking this is just a trade-off because the current IWGP World Heavyweight Championship was actually a version of the Stardom Top Championship back in like the 80s. The World Championship is a more glammed up version than they had, but it's pretty much the same design as the World Championship. But you know what it is. I don't know if KG's going to be pulling this up either.
I'm trying.
But it comes to the point at the bottom, and it rounds up. It kind of looks like a castle. So at the top, you got the little blocks up top, and it's going to have Women's World Championship in the middle of it.
Of course, I can't pull up a bigger version, but let's get up in there. Let's get up in there and bring that around. This is what the one you're talking about here.
That's it. Now that was the original design for the first IWGP Heavyweight Championship before it became a World Championship. That's the title that they had back in the 70s and early 80s. They call that version 1. So that's what they're using for the Women's World Championship. Now there is a tournament that's going to be happening. I don't know if it started. I really don't know if it started yet. But they will be crowning a new women's champion with that belt at some point. I haven't seen any tournament brackets or anything for that. So we're just going to have to see what happens with that. Now, I want to quickly try to go into, and my tablet is ran out of juice. Okay, let me get this out of the way. I want to kind of quickly go over what happened last weekend with the NWA. Now, the NWA had a pay-per-view called Hard Times 3. And they've been dealing with a lot of situations going on recently with Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis put out on Twitter that he wasn't going to try to negotiate a new contract once his current one finished. So he's going to take his wares elsewhere, so to speak. And Billy Corgan apparently wasn't appreciative of how he went about doing this and suspended him for the rest of his contract. His contract is supposed to be up like end of January, 1st of February, somewhere in there. So he wound up suspending him. And then Nick Aldis came out and said, well, the reason why I'm not trying to renew my contract is because I don't like the way that Billy Corgan and the NWA is treating my wife. Apparently, there's been some things going on with Mickie James and them trying to put together a second version of the Empower pay-per-view that they did, the all-women's pay-per-view that they put on back a couple of years ago. And apparently Billy Corgan had came out and said something to the effect of, well, I was all gung-ho about putting together another show like that, but we can't find capable women who can wrestle on a pay-per-view scale, or enough women that we would be able to put on that could wrestle on a pay-per-view scale, and it just wasn't worth putting the money into to make this happen. So, it turned into something really ugly, and it's not something that is going to that they're going to deal with. So they decided, and I don't know where Mickie James is as far as whether she's going to stick with the NWA or not. But as far as Nick Aldis is concerned, he's out the door. And I would think that he would be going to the NWA. I would think that would happen. So we're just gonna have to see where this goes. I'm still trying to find a list because I had one. I'm still searching for one. Now the pay-per-view was very good. They had pretty much every championship available that was defended for that pay-per-view.
That's how a pay-per-view is supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Every championship was defended. Everybody was on there. So, okay, so I found a list. Good. Okay, so we're going to start with the United States Championships. Now, on the last show, we talked about those belts as well. How ugly those belts were, like they were made by a preschooler. I mean, those belts. I mean, now what Billy Corrigan has done, he has made new belts and based them off of, I believe he said, the NWA Missouri Tag Team Championships. Because Billy Corrigan likes to go old school when it comes to his designs. He wants to bring back designs from back in the day. They're interesting looking belts. They kind of look like the NWA World Tag Team Championship belts, but they're a little smaller and they got a little more color to them. Now the Fixers, who are the United States Championship champions currently, which are Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky. Legursky was on a promo when Billy Corrigan introduced the new belts, and he was like, I don't want those belts. I want these. These have our names on them. But he was like, you took some masking tape and put the masking tape on the belts and wrote Fixers on the masking tape. I don't care. These are ours. We want these. So they still don't have the new belts yet. So, we'll see where that goes. But, they defended the titles there at Hard Times and they won. The National Heavyweight Championship is still being held by Scion. Scion is a masked wrestler who came into the business about a year or so ago. It has come to light recently within the last few months because he's been giving cryptic clues as to who he's supposed to be. Nobody knows who he actually is, but he's claiming to be Austin Idol's son. So he has joined Austin Idol Sports Management, which is associated with the Church's Money Entertainment. I don't know if y'all know who is a wrestler named Black G's. He's probably about 5'4", if that. Short black dude who used to be a wrestler back in the day. But he's now managing, and he has his own organization called the Church's Money Entertainment, and he's joined up with Idol Sports Management, and they've been putting their things together, putting their companies together to run Idol Sports Management. So Scion has joined Idol Sports Management and is being managed by Austin Idol, his alleged father. So he just had a match that he defended the title, and he won that at Hard Times. The NWA World's Women's Tag Team Championship is now held by Pretty Empowered, which is Ella Envy and Kenzie Page. And they're doing the thing where, you know, one of them is a good person. Don't cheat. The other one is, win at all costs, do whatever to keep the titles and all this and that. So they're doing that little gimmick. And then, but she's slowly trying to turn, the good one is all slowly turning and seeing the light, so to speak. So, and that's what happened during the match that they had at Hard Times. The NWA World Tag Team Champions are La Rebellion in their second title reign. They just had a match, and which is a pretty good match during Hard Times. They're defending that belt over in AAA as well. So, but it's already a world championship. That the NWA title has been defended all over the world, inside and outside NWA. So, nothing against being a world title to me. You know how I am about naming something a world championship. So now we get into the nitty gritty. The NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship owned by what was his name? The Homicide was defended against Kerry Morton, who is the son of Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. And now you have a new NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion in Kerry Morton, who actually is holding the very same belt that his father held about 5 or 6 years ago as junior heavyweight champion. So that title goes all the way back. That title, that junior heavyweight championship is almost as old as the NWA championship. I mean, it goes back. It has a history going back to like the 40s. So yes, I mean, even though they can trace the NWA World Heavyweight Championship back to George Hackenschmidt, back in those days, you have a real big long history for the Junior Heavyweight Championship as well. So, because I remember matches back when I was little in the 70s of folks defending that title. So now the NWA World Television Championship. Now everybody knows that watches NWA that the title was held for a long time by Tyrus, but Tyrus gave up that championship. They have what they call a lucky 7. So if you win 7 straight, if you have 7 straight title defenses, you can actually cash the television title in for a world championship opportunity. He had more than 7 and had actually said that he wasn't going to relinquish it at any time because he was satisfied with having that belt. But he saw an opportunity to make the title match at Hard Times a 3-way match. So he cashed in that title and made that match a 3-way match, which I'll get to in a moment with you. But they ended up having a tournament, and the winner of that tournament ended up being a member of Idol Sports Management, the Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater. So now Jordan Clearwater is now your new NWA television champion. There was a title defense with Camille, who calls herself the one-time champion because she doesn't plan to get rid of this, have this belt taken off of her anytime soon. And she's held that belt for a very long time. She's had that belt since June 6th of 2021. So she's had it over a year now. She defended that belt and she wound up winning. So she is still your NWA Women's World Heavyweight Champion. And now the World's Championship, which the three-way match was between the champion, Trevor Murdoch, and Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder from WWE, and then Tyrus, who cashed in his title to make this a three-way. And your winner and new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Tyrus. So if you want to go on MSNBC and you want to see Tyrus on the Gutfield show, just like he had the NWA Television Championship on his shoulder, he's going to have the NWA World title on his shoulder. It's already happened. If you haven't seen it already. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on the pay-per-view itself because it was like 12, 13 matches on that card, including the pre-show, which had 2 matches. So I'm not going to go into any detail on that. I mean, it was a great pay-per-view. It was a very good pay-per-view. It was in the New Orleans area, and so it was real nice. It was a wrestling town that they were in, so they had a nice crowd. Everybody was into it. It was a good pay-per-view. So just looking forward to everything going on with New Japan and the World Tag League and the Junior Tag League that's going to be happening. Wrestle Kingdom that's going to be coming up in January. It's a lot going on. So we'll try to keep you up to date on what's going on with all the independents as usual. We'll try not to keep you in hiatus for too long like we have been here recently. So anything you want to ask about, KG?
Well, 2 things. Three things. First off, we keep you in hiatus because it comes down to this time of year, everybody's getting busy. And we got to pay the bills around here. Can't keep these lights on if we don't go out and work, So we got to also work.
We just put out thousands of dollars just for these logos. We got to recoup.
Got to recoup.
Some kind of way.
It's either that or we get in the kitchen with baking soda, a hot pot, a jar and a spoon. But we prefer to do it the legal way. We all got good government jobs.
Exactly.
Number 2, you said something earlier during the segment, and you said the Motor City Machine Guns. And that just like the colors that exploded in my mind. It took me back to a time of TNA when you had some of the best tag team wrestling, when you had the Motor City Machine Guns, Beer Money, Team 3D. You had these guys, and Team 3D at the time was the TNA champions, as well as the the IWGP champions as well.
Right.
And that was the first time I had ever seen a mainstream, if you will, tag team champion walk in with New Japan belts. And they had both of them over their shoulders, and I think they held them titles for almost 2 years. And then somebody beat them. Then they showed up on TNA and they were defended on TNA. And I was like, what is TNA doing? Because they got the formula. Because I'm sitting here and I'm watching them defend these titles. It just took me back. And I was like, I didn't even know that the Motor City Machine Guns was, number 1, still together. Number 2, still wrestling. Now I got another reason to watch NWA. So, number 3, Tyrus Tyrus. Formerly known as Brodus Clay. I've been a fan of his for quite some time. And I'm not even talking just wrestling. I'm talking intellectually. The dude has a brilliant mind. And you don't see that from wrestlers all the time. You don't see the brilliant mind until after they retire. He has a brilliant mind. And I wish him all the success in the world. I would love to see him back in WWE because he got let go because of budget cuts. But I would love to see him back in WWE going up against a Braun Strowman or Omos. Hell, I would even love to see him in at least a 20, 25-minute match with Brock Lesnar for a little while. Just to get those guys going. And it's just something about him, man. I absolutely enjoy him. And him being the NWA champion, being the guy, actually makes me feel really, really good because I've watched him for years. And I'm just happy to see him do it. And then when you see any wrestler, any sports entertainer, whatever you want to call them, when you see them show up on anything outside of wrestling, when JBL used to show up on the stock shows, I can't think of the name of the show, but he was on there. He wrote a book on it about investing in stock market and everything. Everything that you saw from JBL, and he was doing this when he had the goatee and the long black hair. He was showing up. When you see that, that is like gold. It's like seeing your cousin on TV, seeing your brother on TV. It feels good because they're showing, hey, I'm more than just this character that I portray inside the squared circle, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I do.
Well, speaking of cousins, you want your mind blown?
Sure.
Tyrus is cousins with Trevor Murdoch. Tyrus is also married to a daughter of Haku, which makes him related to the Gorillas of Destiny and Hikuleo in New Japan.
Wow. 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 Oh, jeez. I don't even know where to go after that. Like, you talk about wrestling royalty, and you just named it. You just named. Wow, that's. I can't say anything. Like, the dude's destined for greatness. Obviously, he not only winning in the ring, he winning that life, man. And I never knew that. Never knew that.
I mean, I knew for a while that Trevor Murdoch and Tyrus were cousins because they actually mentioned that on the NWA show like a couple of years ago. But during their match, the announcers made it known that Tyrus was married to one of the daughters of Haku, and I was like, wow, that blew me. That blew me out of the water because I was like, wow.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome, and that's not even on his Wikipedia page. How about that? Which I am currently looking at. That's not even on there. Okay, and Tyrus is damn near 50 years old. I did not know that. I thought we were running almost neck and neck. He has me by 8 years and some change. Okay, all right. Last segment before we get out of here. We just did That's Just Nubian. Hadn't did that in a while. Here's another one. I got beef. My beef tonight. The 24/7 title. Most people thought.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times tonight. Yeah,
You sure
I was
have.
setting, I was setting y'all up, folks. I already knew what was coming, so I was kind of warming the plate up for you. You know, so yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
After 3.5 years, it debuted on May 20th, 2019, and it was retired November 9th. Well, it's not quite 3.5 years, but November 9th, 2022. This championship, and we can go back and we can talk. We can go back and we can listen. The People's Choice Don Rodriguez said, maybe WWE should bring up a title that's kind of defended to anybody, anytime, anywhere, kind of like the old hardcore championship was, just something a little different. 2 months later, we have this. I think it may have been a little bit more than 2 months. We have this. The 24/7 championship defended by 24/7, any way you want. And R-Truth made a living of being a 57-time champion. And here's my thing. He was pinning people on planes, hotel rooms, you name it. He was pinning people. It was something to kind of help with the flow of the shows. Now, Nikki ASH wins the title back on the 7th of November. She immediately goes backstage and drops the belt in the trash can, and they retire it 2 days later officially. I have a problem with that. I don't think any title, whether it's a championship, of a world title, a U.S. title, I don't care what kind of championship it is. If it's recognized as a championship, it should never be disrespected by being dropped in the trash. Never. Never. I don't know why the powers that be decided to retire this championship, because it was something fun, you know. But to retire this championship in the fashion that they did it, number one, was disgraceful, disrespectful, downright pitiful. To have this championship for 3.5 years and not near check, and I can look through all the mail that comes through the Sideline Junkie's office. I haven't seen not one check, not a correspondence, not a letter of thanks, none of that. And I'll have to talk to the People's Choice Don Rodriguez and ask him, has he received any correspondence, a check, a letter, or something for his idea? Yet again, another idea that was stolen from us, and we didn't get proper compensation. So you steal his idea. That's not my idea. My idea was something totally different, and that was All Worlds Collide, and they've been trying to do that, and it came to fruition in a sense. I didn't get anything for it. The People's Choice Don Rodriguez didn't get anything for it. The Nubian Sumo didn't get anything for it. The disrespect of this championship, because it may not have been as glamorous and as glorious as everything else as a TV title, which I think they should have brought back to WWE as well, the TV title, 6-man tag team championship as well. But the disrespect to this title as it goes into retirement was uncalled for, and I didn't like it. And here we go. The People's Choice. He says he's got not a damn dime. That bothers me, because that was his idea. That was his baby. He fleshed that out, and then you go through, you make a mockery of it. It made for great TV. It got a little redundant at times, but it made for great TV. But the disrespect of this title is where I got the beef at. I have a beef with WWE for the disrespect of it. And the banner says 24/7 title dead and stinking, and with a question mark. And I asked the question, and I'm going to ask you, is it dead and stinking, or will it be resurrected sometime down the line?
I think I don't know why they would get rid of the title. I mean, it had it as much as I disliked the title itself, the physical title. I mean, it did serve its purpose. I mean, comic relief, a break in between matches, a way to stop a match in case they needed to stop one. You know, just for the sake of stopping a match. It had its purpose. My beef would be not necessarily them getting rid of the title or even how they got rid of the title, but the fact that they didn't put the title on R-Truth to end it. I mean, that whole thing, the whole concept of that belt was pretty much based around R-Truth. So I understand he's hurt. I understand they probably wanted to go ahead and do something to move the title out of the way for whatever their reason. I have a feeling that somehow or another, when R-Truth comes back from his injury, and it's going to be a while, because I think he has a quad injury, kind of similar to what happened to Triple H about a decade or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be out for at least a year, I'm sure. So when you see R-Truth come back, he's going to be on a hunt to find his baby. Because unfortunately, and even though, I mean, and I'm very happy that I'm hearing Michael Cole talk about Shinsuke Nakamura wrestling the Great Muta in New Japan, in Pro Wrestling Noah for Muta's last match. I appreciate that, things like that. I appreciate them saying that some people were coming from CMLL or AAA or wherever they've had this championship before or whatever. I appreciate that. But you're never going to hear the fact that Ron the Truth Killings is a former two-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, because they want to make this man the clown. So what they're going to do is they're going to wait for him to come back, and he's going to go on this crazy ass hunt to try to find his baby, the 24/7 championship. He's going to end up bringing it back. They're going to probably do like a 6-month to a year thing where he's going from city to city trying to find his baby, and he's going to eventually find it, and they're going to resurrect the title, or they're going to have him keep it and just pretend and just make it like the FTW belt, make it unofficial, and he do unofficial matches or whatever with it. And you know, that's it's going to end up coming back in some way, shape, or form. But they just had to get it out of the way for right now. But they will find a way to resurrect it, and it's going to be because of R-Truth.
The People's Choice Don Rodriguez agrees the best way is to resurrect the title is for R-Truth to find it. And he also says, shh, this will get stolen too. Of course it will. My wife says it all the time. She says somebody that has power is listening to y'all. And I believe it. I believe it in every way, shape, or form. And here's the thing. I don't like how they do R-Truth, especially when they had him talking to an imaginary friend, Lil Jimmy. His online persona, who he is on social media with the TikToks and the videos, it gets you through the day. I love that. Him as a wrestler, as a performer, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And to see him in this role, it doesn't make me feel good, because I don't think he should be the butt of the joke. I don't think he should be a joke because of what he did, not only in TNA, what he did in NWA, Wildside, National Championship Wrestling, Memphis Championship Wrestling, Cyberspace Wrestling Federation. You know, PWI said him and Kofi was the tag team of the year in 2012. He was ranked number 18 out of top 500 wrestlers in PWI 504. How far have we slipped that he is a gimmick player?
Because he was able to consistently make Vince laugh. And he said that himself. He said that in interviews himself. Like he always goes to Vince and he always talks to him, and they such good buddies, and they laugh about all kinds of different things, and jokes and whatnot. And so, but like Vince hears something or sees something and says, I can make a gimmick out of that. And he sticks with it, So he sees R-Truth, both being North Carolinians, both being friendly, he sees R-Truth as being the funny guy. So he makes R-Truth the funny guy. He makes him the clown, the joke. And I mean, I don't blame R-Truth, because why mess up your bag? But still,
that is true.
You are a 2-time world heavyweight champion, and not just a world heavyweight champion, an NWA world champion. He's held Sweet Charlotte twice. He's held the 10 pounds of gold twice. That's got to account for some kind of respect, in my opinion. I'm sorry. And people can say all they want. They can say, well, that was a time when the NWA was dead, and the NWA has been on life support. I will say that. There was a time when the NWA was on life support. But as long as the NWA was affiliated with somebody on TV, the NWA was alive. At that time, the NWA and TNA, the TNA was under the auspices of the NWA. There would be no TNA if there wasn't an NWA.
Say it again.
And you could ask Jeff Jarrett that. Okay? So at that time, when he won the NWA World Championship, it was relevant. It had relevance. There was relevance to it. There was no TNA World Heavyweight Championship. It was the NWA Championship in TNA. The X Division belt was the NWA TNA X Division Championship.
And it said it on the belt. It said NWA.
And it said it on, and it was on the original belt.
Exactly.
It was on the original belt.
I remember that.
So I mean, you can say what you want, but the belt had relevance when he had it. And being that he's the first black NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Everybody talks about Ron Simmons being the first black champion. He wasn't, but he still gets the accolade. He wasn't the first black world heavyweight champion, and I'm not saying R-Truth was. He was the first black NWA world champion. Ron Simmons was the first black WCW world champion. He was the first. I'll give R-Truth the credit as being the first black world heavyweight champion in a major organization. I'll give him that, but he was not the first black world heavyweight champion.
Wouldn't that be Bobo Brazil?
That would be Bobo Brazil back in 1964.
Who was also a great boxer. Let's not forget that Bobo Brazil was a great boxer as well.
Hell, and for those who don't want to recognize Bobo Brazil as a world champion, as the first black world champion, you don't have to. The NWA just recognized him maybe about 5-6 years ago. But I'll give you another person that you can't deny. Iceman King Parsons beat Kerry Von Erich in world class for the world class championship wrestling world heavyweight championship 2 years before Ron Simmons won his belt.
They don't talk about this at all. They don't talk about this at all.
So I'm just saying, you got all of these, you got all these folks that aren't getting recognized as world champions, that have held world championships and have beaten people of relevance. But you don't want to recognize them. You don't want to say that they've been world champion. You want to give them their status, their proper status, their proper respect. You want to make Ron Simmons, you want to make Ron the Truth Killings into a clown on national television, but he's a 2-time world heavyweight champion. You're not putting him in any real title contention. You're just putting him in position to do the job for somebody. But then you want us to respect your people, the people you want us to put in the forefront. You want us to respect them. But somebody like Ron Killings on the tail end of his career, who knows how he gonna come back from this quad injury, if he comes back,
if he decides to.
And how does he go out? How does he go out?
Now, if I had to write the script, you know how he going out.
I'm saying, how did he go out to get in for the injury?
Well, yeah, that is a good.
When he got injured.
That's a good question.
When he got injured, how has his, as of right now, if he never comes back, how did his career end? Him jumping off the ring during a match where he was doing a job for somebody and he hurt himself. What does that do for his career? How does that make him look as a former world champion to come into a company and be the clown, be the rapper?
Yeah. Here's the thing. If I got to write his story for him to come back, him and John Cena starting off, maybe putting a program on for 6 months, and the rap battles going back and forth, and then you see Truth kind of flip a switch and go at Cena hard to the point that you like, okay, we haven't seen this. Yes, you have. But then all of a sudden, Cena puts him over, and he walks off into the sunset like that. But he gets the honors and the accolades that he should get, instead of being the butt of the jokes. The joke, period.
You're going too light with it. I'm bringing back the TNA Ron the Truth Killings. I'm gonna have R-Truth get together with all them little minions, the Tozawas, the Gulaks, all them folks that was in the 24/7 title picture. All of them that was in that grouping. I'm gonna have him come back, and I'm gonna have him tear holes in all their asses. I'm gonna have the old Ron the Truth Killings come back. Ain't no more R-Truth. No. The truth is back. The truth is here. And then I'm gonna have him go on a tirade. I'm gonna have him go on a run and go after anybody he's gonna go after anybody and everybody that ever disrespected him in that ring. I'm gonna have him go on a tirade, and he's gonna end up winning at least the Intercontinental Championship before he leaves.
And what if I'm not mistaken?
And he's going to be saying, "I'm a former world champion. I'm a former world champion. I'm the one who put companies on the map. I'm gonna make him get his flowers. I'm gonna make him get his flowers before he leaves."
You know something? You look at it. He's been 2-time United States champion. They had the opportunity for him to run, and they never took the opportunity for him to run. But they damn sure gave him that 24/7 championship 54 times. You gave him the hardcore championship twice. I'm just looking over his accolades in WWE, and it's very, very long. You know, United States champion twice, as I say, hardcore champion twice, 24/7 champion 54 times, one world tag team championship with Kofi Kingston. He has a bragging rights trophy with Team SmackDown, mixed match challenge with Carmella, 2 Slammy awards, and that's his you know, his accolades in WWE. In TNA, 2-time world heavyweight champion, 2-time tag team champion with BG James and Conan, world tag team championship, TNA world team tag team championship with Adam Jones, gauntlet for gold tag team with BG James. His TNA resume is shorter than the WWE, but the TNA one, that resume seems way better than, if you take WWE out, you're looking at somebody that was dominant.
And you know who Pac-Man Jones is, right?
Of course.
That's Adam Jones.
Yeah.
That's Adam Jones.
Because he got in trouble for showing up in TNA and wrestling. He wound up getting in trouble for that.
Yeah. They put the tag belts on them for a short while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Pac-Man Jones. BG James, you know as Brian Road James Dog. Or the Road Dogg Jesse James.
Yep.
They had that crew together with Conan called the VKM, the Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
And they called it the Voodoo Kin Mafia because they wanted to use the initials VKM, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yep. Another great time during TNA's run, where they actually put out a damn good product at that time.
Oh yeah. That was back when the Jarretts were running it.
Yeah, exactly. Before Dixie Carter.
That was before Dixie Carter got a hold to the company. And yeah, that was before Bischoff and Hulk Hogan and the things that they did to the company. That was back when TNA was good.
Hold on. Bischoff and Hulk Hogan gave us the Main Event Mafia. I thought that was one of the best factions in wrestling because you had all former world champions all together. And they just came out and they had this arrogance about them that was just beautiful. It was gorgeous, man. I was like, yeah, but that was like nearly the height of TNA, because after that, it really just nosedive. And a lot of people blame Dixie Carter, but it wasn't just that. She had so much control, and the people that were making it successful, she got rid of.
Yeah.
She, you know, her parents bought out, and now here's the thing, most people don't know this, but she didn't own TNA. Her parents bought it with their company. Did. Right. And company. She just ran.
They just pretty much the same situation as almost the same situation as Tony Khan and AEW, except Tony Khan actually purchased or started AEW, but he used his daddy's money.
Exactly. And then you know, she forced Jeff Jarrett out and used the guise of him and Kurt Angle. I think Jeff Jarrett was sleeping with Kurt Angle's wife. And that's who
Jeff
Kurt
Jarrett's
Angle's
wife is. Jeff Jarrett's current wife was Kurt Angle's former wife.
Right.
So yes.
That's
They
a
were
conflict of
separated. They were separated, and then Jeff Jarrett started dating his ex-wife, and they say they cool now, but there was a time when there was supposedly some animus going on with that, and so yeah.
And she used that to get Jeff Jarrett up out of there. And when she got Jeff
Right.
Jarrett up out of there and she started running things, your knockouts division went down because there was no more focus on the knockouts division. And let's focus on the knockouts division right now. You had Awesome Kong, Raka Khan. I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of everybody. Oh my God, you had so many women.
What's her name?
ODB.
Who's the Asian woman? Used to be in
Gail Kim.
WWE. Gail Kim. Yeah.
You had so many women in that division that I would love to see that division at that time and take on the NWA's current women with Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, all those ladies, as well as WWE's women's division. That right there, they could put on a show by themselves because of the amount of talent and the amount of mic skills, everything. They have everything that they could put on their own, everything together because they were that good. It was worth tuning into. It wasn't just thrown together. It was beautiful. It was poetry in motion. Then you had the tag team division, which once Dixie took over, that went down. Oh my God, it was just so much. She kind of sort of came in and she did okay for a little bit, then she kind of ruined a good thing. So, but we need to get our behinds up out of here. Before we go, and before we wrap that shit up, B, we got to talk about our sponsor. If you can see that logo, if you're watching, up in the top, I gotta look over the TV, the right-hand corner, over top of the Nubian Sumo's left shoulder, I believe that is. That's our new logo. And it is, I'm gonna let the Nubian Sumo take this while I put the graphic up.
All right, so like I said, that's Tanisha, not Tanisha. Tanisha Sutton. For all you Zeta Phi Betas out there that might be watching, she's one of your sorors. She has this. Yes, you see all of her company names and her web address there, phone number. She created our logos, which she did a very good job on, and was very much appreciated. So if you need any, like I said, if you need any graphic artist work done, she does T-shirts as well. She does everything graphic arts that you need. So give her a call. Tell her the Nubian Sumo sent you. She might be able to give you a little something off if you mention my name. I ain't gonna say whether I can't give you like any what is it those
the promo code.
What you call them? The promo codes. I don't have a promo code for you. Well, let's just say the word. Give her the words. Give her the name Sumo as a promo code. See how that works for you. That and a dollar might get you a cup of coffee.
That's something that's more cups of coffee.
You never know. Before. You never know. So but thank you, Tanisha, for helping us out and getting these logos to us. Very much appreciated. Something long time coming, and just glad that we're able to use them now. So, and next time we need something from you, we coming to you. And Anybody else needs something, you need to come to her. There's a name and a logo right there. It's scrolling across the bottom. There you go again, right there. See right there. See, yeah, there you go.
Her business card that you seen on this screen will be on all of our social media by tomorrow morning. So make sure you see that. It'll be in our stories, everything. So make sure you see that as well as the new logos. And once again, Tanisha, thank you. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, I'm just going to finish up this last little bit of whoop ass. And I'm going to call it a night.
Hey, that sounds good.
I'm gonna do what Don Oz this time, because I ain't never said this part. Y'all diversify y'all's bonds, okay?
And konnichiwa, bitches. Good night. Be sure to tune into the Sunday Rise in about 12 hours. So until then, we out of here.
Oh hell